Welcome to the second quarter, as Verna, April 7th. And we got a fun meeting to you today. We're going to give you a lot of value. And today's theme came about us in a way of looking at customer service, right? Looking at value. And I'm going to share some numbers that really jumped out at us that Krista shared with me today as a business owner to look at it. But here's what I want to start with, right? I'm going to share some books with you that I like to read. This book is called The Millionaire Agent. I don't know if you've ever heard of this book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. We hand these books like they're going out in water. People should have them. You have it on the shelf, and it is a fantastic book. And we're talking about customer service. And Gary on page 67 talks about his experience. He talks about Disney. Disney has pretty good customer service, right? If you've ever been there, I think it's pretty good. Nimesh is not good enough for him.
No, maybe the best.
Here's what he says. I'm going to read this to you to get us warmed up. To work at Disney, employees have to attend Disney University, an intense crash course in the service systems. Employees are taught all the essential facts, memorize park layouts, and are instructed how to keep their energy high and their attitude right. The Disney philosophy is the front line is the bottom line. They understand that the average visitor saves for 2.5 years before making the journey, which makes for some lofty expectations. The average homeowner waits as much as 4 times as long to make a home purchase. What are their expectations? How can you ensure that you can meet those expectations the way that you do? Their standards, their systems, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today as we jump into this. You know, I love to read this book, and I don't know if you've ever read it. It's called The Starbucks Experience, all right? You like Starbucks or not, whatever it is. They went to a company that was selling a cup of coffee. Cup of coffee. Everybody's been selling a cup of coffee. Coffee's been around since when? I don't know. I don't know about in biblical times that they're drinking coffee, and yet it's been around, and I have mine, right? I do like a cup of coffee, and you go into it. So how can you go from a cup of coffee and then be around a franchise that's around the world, and you see that, and you pull in and you get a cup of coffee? It's an experience. It's more than just, right? You expect an expectation when you pull into there, right? Another great book to read from is a book called The Raving Fans. If you haven't read that one, how do you create raving fans, right, along the way? So let me, as I jump into this, any other great books that you guys like to read or experience you study on customer service?
I would say Tribe. I think it's by John something. I don't remember, okay. But Tribe. That's a good one as well. That would pair well with The Raving Fans.
And what's your takeaway from that one?
It's just about how to build your customer experience, is so much so that you build a community of people who are your raving fans, right? Yeah. And so how do you go about creating this tribe that's going to follow you wherever you go?
Yep, that's awesome. Okay, I'm looking for that. I had it prepared. Okay, so here's a couple of numbers I want to read with you guys, and I'm going to read them out loud, and I want you to hear them, okay? And here's some interesting things. We just closed out the month of March. We sold a boatload of real estate as an office. I want you to hear this. So closed units, not counting leases, right, was 241. You say, okay, what does that mean? Last month in February, we did 158. March of last year, we did 178. And remember, last March was still pretty strong. Yes, we had COVID that hit, but we didn't really see an impact in real estate. It showed up more April and May when it showed up. So 241 to 178. Closed volume as an office, we were 87,943. 87 million. You say, okay, how does that compare? Last month in February, we did 52 million. Last March, we did 48. So we went from 48 last March to 87 million. Good job, by the way. A lot of stinking real estate. That was awesome. Now, GCI, that means people making money. We were over 2.4 million in gross commission income for an office. It's a lot of stinking money.
Mm-hmm.
Last month we did 1.5. Last March we did 1.4. So great increase. Okay, now here's a number I wanted you to hear. Concessions, meaning money that we gave back to the consumer, was this month was 228,000. Last February was 132. Last March was 94. So what we're seeing is, hey, we're selling a lot of real estate. We're seeing our concessions and discounts and things given back at an high rate. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Listings taken. Now listen to this one. We're selling a stink load of real estate. Was 110 in March of this year. Last year was 130. We need. Have I mentioned this before on the call that we need more listings?
Not at all. I don't think you have.
I haven't heard it yet.
Okay,
Thanks
great.
for sharing that.
Okay, great. Just an insight. I just recognize that, and I just wanted to share this with the group. You can type in. Listings taken volume was 40 million. Last March was 45. So we're still down. We're selling a stink load of real estate. We're moving in. We're setting records, and yet we're moving into it, and we're giving away more money than ever back to our clients, right or wrong or whatever. But here's the theme of this: when we're really clear on our value proposition, when we're delivering customer service, when we're really knowledgeable about that fact is, I believe is we can be in a stronger position not to have to give up our hard-earned money. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that and just kind of break that down in theme. And I got a little bit of some slides, so let me get this running. Should have had Nimesh control this. He would have probably done it like...
Not if he was handling the music the way he was doing it. Today he's a little off.
Let me ask you this, Chad, while you're working on that, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. You might have looked it up before though. So last March compared to like in multi-year trends compared to previous Marches, how much of an effect was last March with the onset of the pandemic?
We didn't feel it. It was still strong. It was progression. It showed up in our sales. And
maybe.
Yeah. Like two months later. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So March year over year was still pretty accurate though. So it was okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Okay. Hold on. I'm getting there. You think would be easier.
This is how I struggle during our team meetings.
Right. Here we go. You guys can see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
It's fixed. Okay. Customer experience. This is in our curriculum too as we move forward. All right. Here we go. We're not going to be talking about average. Okay. It's going to work. You ever even have technology issues as you're working through this? This played out better in my head. If you want extraordinary results in your life, you cannot be average. This is not going to be average talk, right? This is going to be extraordinary. This is going to be delivering high customer service, high value, high knowledge. If you show up here and think you're average, you're going to have to discount your commission and your services, and you're going to struggle.
I mean, that's why it's called extraordinary. Ordinary is average. You got to go above that.
And this is where we go, be, do, have. Well, Chad, I'm just starting. Or Chad, I don't have the experience. You have to be it, and it has to ooze from you for you to have it, to go, to go get it, to achieve it is the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
The truth is, here's the truth about it. You would have no business without your customers. Pretty solid, right? In our philosophy as leadership of this office, we are nothing without our agents. The agents are our service, and we strive to provide customer service. You can tell me if we drop the ball on it, because we certainly try and intend to. All right, here's your customer experience, right? The myth is it's defined by you. Wrong. It's defined on what the customer wants. Starts and ends at the end of the transactions. We believe this is a lifetime commitment that you would be a lifetime real estate professional, an economist of choice for your your clients. And that one gets violated all the time. Meets the customer needs. No, the truth is it meets their needs and connects at an emotional level and exceeds expectation. One size fits all. No, it's personalized and touches emotion, right? The bold law, logic will get them to think, emotion will get them to act. Addresses the customer specific issues as they arise. Addresses issues plus any issues the customers didn't know they had. Does not have, go ahead.
I was going to say you have to uncover them. And when you're talking about, you know, even new agents can do this, uncovering all these objections and what the experience needs to look like just requires you asking a lot of questions. And anybody can ask a lot of questions, right?
Yeah. Well, and you're going to hear that. Selling is not telling. Selling is asking great questions and listening.
Yeah. My big thing on this is it kind of, it segues back into what we talked about last week, right? As opposed to, you know, educating your clients, some of these things, like, especially in this market, right? Where we know that there could be some challenges that are up ahead, whether we're going to face them or not is unknown, but yet the possibility is higher, right? So if we're already preparing our clients in advance for that, you're already ahead of the ball game. Yeah. We were just talking about the word extraordinary and talking about, you know, extraordinary being more than ordinary. Last week when Robbie and PJ were talking, they were basically saying that, right? Like the offers that are getting selected, if you're on the buy side, is an agent that is being extraordinary, right? What's making you and your offer and your actions stick out from the ordinary agent?
Yeah. I think that's the focus for this entire meeting, right? So as you're going along and listening, look for those clues or those things those identifiers that show that you are more than just ordinary. And start thinking about that experience. If you don't know, ask your past clients.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Does not happen organically. You have to be intentional and set standards. Mm-hmm. And then success is based on feelings alone. No, it's measured by repeat and referral business and surveys, like feedback along the way.
Yeah.
Great. So look at this, right? And you see this, if you want a copy of it, email Barbara and we can send it to you, is your value proposition. And you're going to say, I'm going to deliver first-class customer service. And we're going to keep digging into this. Does it meet all these? Is it defined by the customer? Does it start and continue for a lifetime? Like, let them be the one where they come home for a trip and they have damage or water leak or something. And they're calling you going, hey, what do I need to do? I'll connect you to the right people. We'll help you get it taken care of. And you connect with them on emotional, you know, right? We're selling them a lifestyle. It's more than just the house, and make those touches along the way. And any issues, we got to think about it, because the ultimate goal is to build a referral-based business.
Yeah, you want to be their consultant for life. You want to be their trusted advisor for life.
The go-to guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Imagine this one. Take care of the people who take care of you. Creating raving fans, and we'll go into this a little bit. If I go back and tell a personal story, right? Because I was not very good as an agent. I didn't know what the heck I was doing half the time. And yet I had great people around me, so it made it look like, and I went in with confidence. There was a lady in my world, her name was Amy. And Amy, she helped me at times, but she became a raving fan. Like, she was out looking for business for me because she wanted me to succeed. And she was well known. She was in the middle of a lot of stuff. You can do it, and she propelled my business forward. And guess what? I took care of her. So on her birthday, with the hint of my wife, I sent her flowers. Her husband didn't send her flowers. I did. So take care of the people who take care of you is the theme of that lesson.
Yeah, your raving fans typically bring you 80% of your business, right?
Yeah,
we can impact 80% of your business. So why not focus your time on them? Think about your major brands and those who are raving fans and how much they spoil them, right? They lean into them because they know that they're going to bring a lot of that business.
Well, here's your slide. I didn't even set you up for this one too, by the way.
It's like I set you up. We just did basketball, right? I put it up there.
Alley-oop.
Alley-oop. There you go.
Let that slide stick in. We think we have to go so big and put out this huge net to do a big business, and it's actually a core group that's going to provide you. It's like being hyper local. It's being really honed in on your database, especially your past clients. This is so true. We can, all year long last year, we interviewed top people because we want to know where they're thinking they're coming from. And what did they all say? My business is coming from my referrals, right? Past clients. And I'm not mocking this. I'm just getting into reality. I want it to sink in. And they were calling just to check in on people. And we think it's more complicated than that.
No, about 52% of your business can come from your sphere of influence and past clients. Like the referral business from your sphere of influence and past clients. So why not spend a lot of your expenses on them and your time?
Yeah. Well, and we heard that last year was greater. And Gary would tell you with the top people, we saw that 75 to 80% were coming from that. Okay. Here's the truth. It's easier to keep a customer than it is to get a new one. Mm-hmm. Let that sink in.
Yep.
When you get your first deal and you are treating them, loving on them and getting it, they're going to give you referrals and move forward.
Don't wait till the end of the transaction to ask for a referral. Right. Set them up in the very beginning that you're going to be asking for a referral, ask them, and then have it periodically throughout the transaction itself. And it keeps you accountable too, to make sure you're doing what you need to do to take care of them. And then at the end, and then a little bit after the end, constantly be asking for referrals.
Here's another great quote. The data is clear. Staying in relationship with your database is the number one way to get more business. Have we said that before? Dan Goon was in here the other day, and Dan Goon was telling how much he loves to listen to James Shaw Pivot Facebook that happens every morning. I think so. He's really connected on watching it. Dan Goon's on here. Yes. And Dan says, you know what? They said, don't focus on you have no right to focus on any other sources of business until you knock it out with your database.
Yeah.
And Dan was like, man, that was just, resonated. Dan could probably say it better than I did. And yet I'm like, Dan, don't you think we've talked that a few times here? And he chuckled and laughed, but he goes, it was just, hey, I should have had a V8 if you can hear Dan saying that. And yet this is proven over and over, right? This goes to the customer experience. Just go get in relationship with people, stay in your database, because we know eventually they're going to move.
Yeah.
And we know how much that occurs. So just stay in relationship and care and being into it. Just so powerful. All right.
Can you do it in Dan Goon's voice?
No, I probably should bring him on at this point and have him, do it as well. But we'll see if he's there.
He's raised his hand.
Okay, here we go. Cost of a bad experience. Look at this. Now, you don't deliver. The opposite of it is people love to share when things went wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's when it makes it to the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Throw some tea.
Mm-hmm. If you let this, 20% will switch providers. 357, this is right, negative shares. 9% lose trust. 59% have no relationship. There's a source. But here's the piece to it I want you to do. Customers are more apt to share a negative customer experience than to share a positive customer experience. Mm-hmm. That's the world that we live in. There's a reality. How can you reimagine your customer service? So let's go back to it. It is, okay, Chad, how do I stick apart, right? How do I become a raving fan? How do I create a Starbucks experience? How do I create the Ritz-Carlton experience and the Nordstrom? What is really core to them to providing them with such a great foundation? Oh, here's a great foundation that we have here, right? Mm-hmm. And here's for a free office bill. The first one that can type these into the box and get them right. I guess you could cheat if you want to. Get the free office basic bill in our chat.
Now we got to watch the chat.
Yes, we got to watch the chat.
You can participate, right? Typing.
Hey, means there's a W, there's an I, there's 4 C's, there's 2 T's. We've added an E, and there's an S. Good luck. Let me know the first one to nail it.
Krista's watching. Okay, Krista, you got our back.
And you got to get the E, right?
You got to get the E.
All right, here's what research tells us. We want to focus on the needs. Here's what buyers need your help. Here's what sellers, what agents look for in an agent. It's just research. Buyers need help finding the right home. They need help negotiating terms. They need help with price and negotiating, pricing comparable homes, help with paperwork. Sellers want to market their home. Pricing, selling, time frame. They're looking for honest and trustworthy and experience and a reputation. So you focus on those things and you make sure they ooze out of you.
Your entire presentation, knowing that these are the things that they want to see and hear, can have this interwoven inside of it, right? Because now you're handling the objection early on before it actually becomes an objection.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. So how do you stay relevant? Know your market, know your market, know your market.
It's right. Funny when you talked about the whole Disney thing, one of the things that they had to know was the park layout, right? So they understood what they were providing, their entire market and the value of that market because they understood the park layout, right? And so they can give their customers direction on how to get the best experience possible.
Yeah, that's a good, I like that. Thanks. No preferred, not your preferred communication style. The consumer's preferred, right? The customer's preferred communication style, and you ask for clarity. Would you prefer for text, email, or phone call for me to give you updates? Oh yeah, what if we needed a challenge and there's conflict on the other end or something big? Because they could say, it's just send me text, keep me updated, that's the way I want it. Unless something big shows up, they're like, well, I don't want a text for this. I need to talk to you. So you got to really understand how people want to be communicated with.
And also just how they communicate, period, right? So one of our top teams, the Loken Group, really leans in hard on utilizing the DISC and some other personality assessments to know what they are and to be able to identify who's across the table from them. That's a tool that we have, and leveraging the tools that you guys have access to is going to be key in you being extraordinary.
And then know your value proposition. Why are you worth, right? We led this off with giving up so much money in commissions, right? And I say, in the lack of value, price becomes a determining factor. But when you really know your value and what you have to offer, you're going to be really steadfast in sticking to what you deserve to get paid. That doesn't mean you're going to be flexible, but we got to know.
You got to know your numbers too, so you can know when your value is being threatened overall, not just from one deal to another.
Yep. Top agents can easily explain what service they provide and who hires them. This is your value proposition. Why would I hire you? Right? And then it goes back to results, negotiating, hassle-free, being educated. Those are words. It's really a fiduciary. Let's keep going on this. Present your value proposition, listen to your customer, and seek agreement. Seek agreement. I hear too many times where we're working with buyers and we don't have agreement. And you go, Chad, they don't want to sign a buyer's agreement rep, right? And get into it. Okay, but how do we know that we're committed to each other? Because I'll give you top service, but you got to be committed to me. And then I hear the story, I've heard this over the years. Oh my gosh, I was working with somebody and they ended up working with somebody else and I'm not making any money. What can you do about it? And I'm like, there's not much unless we procured the property, and then that's a different case. And I think we just violated one of these. Seek agreement. We're going to work together and here's the expectations. And if people won't give it to you on the other end, in my opinion, you move along.
Right. I think when you set mutual expectations and you come together with that agreement, you've now established that you guys are on the same team. And it's okay for you to remind them that you want the same thing. We are on the same team. And you'll find that in saying those things, right? That's just a psychology thing. They're more willing to work with you and trust you and move down the line of the day.
And I see also people, if you cram something and you ask for agreement, and you haven't presented value and listened to their needs and expectations, nobody's gonna agree to that.
Yeah, you stole a little bit of my thunder. That's exactly where I was going. It's you know, what I always implore agents to do is when they come and say, hey, they're just not signing, they're not psyching, it's signing, right? So we're talking about number 3. And it's, my question is always like, you got to dig deeper. Why? Like, right? Why are they not signing? Now, we talked about this morning, right? Like some people are just like that. And, you know, there's a few of those, right? But not, most of the time, it boils down to going back to number 1 and number 2, right? Like, are we explaining or providing our value, right? First of all, and are we listening to what they're seeking or what their needs are to, you know, and oftentimes it's the shortcomings of 1 and 2 on this slide. And that's the reason why their number 3 is not occurring.
As a matter of fact, that slide you had right before this one, where it told you what everybody was expecting, like what buyers are wanting, that's part of it, right? If you can uncover and make sure that you are presenting yourself as honest and trustworthy, explaining the agent experience, you know, all of those good things, you'll find that you have, you know, handled that objection before it even presents itself.
Yeah. Oops, oh, here we go.
Yeah, this is it.
Present your value proposition. All customers want peace of mind. Explain the difference, functionary and fiduciary. And this is big in the world and the industry we live in. Zillow and what they're doing is a functionary piece. There's not a fiduciary. There are things that you can provide that Zillow will never provide. Now, they're going to want you to be the agent, but they're going to treat you as a functionary. This is so good. So it tells and sells a fiduciary. You serve, you educate and guide. I was sitting in the ALC meeting and it was a little bit of a heated conversation, right? Meaning the frustration of how tight the market was and how challenging it is in doing it. And the word I just kept coming back to is you got to educate, you got to educate, you got to educate. We got to serve and we got to anticipate their needs. We got to accept high responsibility. Don't be the victim. When something goes wrong, the first thing to say is, what's my DNA in that? What's my ownership? Where could I have gotten better? You own the results. You advise and consult. You exceed expectations, and you're irreplaceable. Look at all the other ones on the other side. If you feel like you're showing up here, how do you grow to such an extent that you could hit all these on this side? And then somebody says, hey, can you give me back 2% of the commissions? I could. I appreciate you asking, but no, because here's why.
I think if you can create a story or an example of an experience where someone has been acting as a functionary and deliver them as the opposite of what you do, would kind of help in assisting them to understand the level of service that they're going to get if they go the other way versus the level of service that you're going to bring and provide.
Well, I think we kind of tell that a little bit when we do the Up Close magazines, and we focus on the client and the customer, and it tells, and it recognizes the top producer, but man, it comes really across as a fiduciary. And we've already said that we were going to show up as a fiduciary.
Right.
That's when we got our license and we agreed to it each year, and to do it is we've already said we'll be a fiduciary. And there's high money in that, always is. And if you're over here and you're giving discounts and doing it, this is probably why. As a reality. So you check yourself and say, where am I? So listen to your customer. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I don't think that will ever go away in our world as a truth. Now here's a great one. Your integrity is challenged every time you fail to deliver on what you will say you will do. Have you ever met somebody who was an overpromiser and an under-deliverer?
All the time in our industry, right?
Yep. And you're looking for somebody who will underpromise and over-deliver. That's when you create an experience, and you got to deliver enough on the front end that somebody will want to work with you, and then you exceed that. That's how you create raving fans. But your integrity is, Chase, if you say you're going to do something, you don't do it.
I think that's even true for when you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you don't do it, right? And they want your customers and your clients watch that.
Yeah.
They see that and they put it in the bucket. So.
And people want to do business with people they trust. It's kind of the saying that always has, that they know, like, and trust. And trust being the hardest to earn. That's why when you come into this, when I got into the industry, I called people that already trusted me. And I told them I need their help in real estate. That was a go-to. Nothing complicated about it. When
that's why
call expired, I'm like, why would I want to call expires? There's 30 other people calling them and I don't have any trust. Not saying that's not a good way, but I'm just telling you where I was thinking is I'm going to go to people that I go to church with, that I do life with, and do it. And I'm going to lean on them.
Yeah.
Because I already knew that they trusted me. Remember, it's just a core group. Just takes a few to become your raving fans. Mm-hmm. Have standards. Yesterday, when we were in the leverage series, we talked about this one a lot. Especially people. My clients will only work with me. Only I can deliver quality service. And Kimbra and Audra in that group, if you were there and listened to it, knocked this one out, right? The clients aren't loyal to them. Kimbra was specific to say is, you actually want to work with my buyer's agent because she's so much better than me. And Audra is just true to the standard that she lives. Your clients aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to the standards that you represent. So the question is, do you know what your standards are?
About to say that. That's the question. Do you know your standards?
Mm-hmm. And it comes from
a team. Does your team, have you communicated that enough within your team that your team can articulate those standards true to heart as well?
Mm-hmm. Sounds so simple, but it's so profound. So communicate your standards, your mindset and your image standards, right? You're in a real estate industry. You are on all the time. Mm. And then you enforce the standards. You hold true to them. And it just becomes really clear when you have standards. I call it almost like a core belief and principles, that values that you work. And when somebody shows up in the beginning and they want to violate one of those, it's not worth it. Do not get into business with them. Do not do the transaction. I've been guilty of this too, but they show up, believe who they are. When you have a client going, no, they're violating one of the things that I core belief into it. I could make money. This could be $1 million sale. It's not worth it.
You know, you mentioned the panel, I guess that was yesterday. Yeah. One of the things that comes up is about hiring the right people, right? And so in a sense, we're hiring our customers and our clients. Sure. And when they show up, they're showing you who they are. Believe them. So if in the very beginning, they're showing you that they're going to compromise your standards, they're showing you that they don't truly value you, and you've presented your value very well, you've articulated it well, you understand where they're coming from, and they're still trying to discount you, walk away. Because it's going to show up again. Yeah. Like close to closing, when everything is leaning in the right direction.
Not worth your time, and you don't get paid enough to deal with it, right? And let's just be in a reality of there's evil people out there. Number one, yeah. There's a sign that Andy and I have in here, and it says we can't fix stupid, right? And you say that's not really politically correct, but there's some people they think they know it all. And they don't need our help and they don't value it. Just don't be in relationship with them. You're not going to fix them. There's some that you're not, and just be okay with that. And sometimes when you have that take back in sales, people are like, no, I do want to work with you. Awesome. And I'd love to work with you, but here's the script, right? This meeting is going to go one of three ways. The first is that you're going to choose to work with me, and that'll be fantastic. And we'll get you to where you need to be. The second is you'll choose not to be in business with us or do business with me. Quite frankly, that's not going to be okay. Or the third is I might not choose to do business with you. Mm-hmm. And they'll go, well, what do you mean? Wow. Let me tell you that if there's any point of this, I don't feel like I can meet your expectation and you're not aligned with the way that I have to do business. I'd rather part now as friends and move out of that. That's a script, by the way.
Yeah, I want to say it's a bold script, isn't it? Where it's like if you're having a consultation, right? It's the line that you say about like, and at the end of this, if we choose to work together, right?
But the take back is people are, I don't know if this is the right alignment. Actually, people are drawn to that. Mm-hmm. And you're okay with we're not attached to the outcome. You're attached to the standards, being a fiduciary and meeting your needs. And sometimes when they have unrealistic expectations, it's not going to work. Oh, you want to continue to go out there and make offers $50,000 under ask price because you think you're going to get a deal. I'm probably not going to be the agent for you.
I filed that one under the breakup script. You know, it's not you, it's me. Yeah.
Now, the customer's point of view is the only one that counts. And this is true. This is their reality. It still means if this is the way they want to do business, great. That's in alignment with who we are. We're going to work great together because I'm hearing you. Meaning, oh, let's go back to that. Customer's point of view is agents are not worth anything, and I don't think you should be paid. That's right. That's true. And yet that's not in alignment with the way we do business. Yeah. And I can find you an agent who will do it really cheap for you. And it'll end up costing you money in the end. Always does. Mm-hmm. So ask for feedback. Look at these numbers is 80% of consumers read online reviews for local businesses. 68% of consumers were more likely to buy from a local business with positive online reviews. Here's your testimonials. Here's your views. 89% of customers' testimonials are considered the most effective content marketing tactic. And 90% of consumers say buying decisions are greatly influenced by positive reviews. Not that a negative view is bad. It means, right, there's enough positive to tell them a great story. But quite frankly, we don't get our people to tell enough of our story.
That's what we talked about in the 66-day challenge as we met up yesterday is how are you getting your customers and your clients to give you feedback? And then how are you placing that online? Because this is where people are going to search for it. Are you getting a Yelp review? Are you getting a Google review? Are you getting a Facebook review? Like get those reviews and put them out there, and that can assist you in getting more listings and more buyers.
Yeah. So how do we surpass expectations? Keep your customers informed. This was Kimbra emphasized this great when she learned is every time that somebody comes into your world, start of a transaction to the end, you're always telling them, here's what's going to happen next. This will blow people away. I'm telling you, you will set yourself apart when you do this because that's what top teams do. Top producers do. That's what they train their teams to do. If you remember is along the way, right? Kimbra used the Candyland. You ever play Candyland? Anybody play Candyland? Candyland is just a way to do it. And you're just telling them, okay, Nimesh, we got our offer accepted. Here's what's going to happen next. We'll get this executed, and we need to get option and title, whatever it is, right? Or here's hey, we completed our inspections. What's going to happen? Hey, great news. We're through the option period. Here's what's going to happen next. Here's still things we got to get through. You're the seller, right? We still have third-party financing, right? They still have a way if something falls apart on the financing, they have 21 days, whatever it is. You're just keeping them informed and telling them what happened next. Here's one thing Andy actually told me, and it's brilliant, by the way, and she learned it from somebody else. When you have no news to share, go share. You have no news to share.
Yes.
Hey, Verna, remember, this is my weekly check-in. I got really nothing to update with you, right? Everything's on track. There's nothing really to share that's different, but I wanted to give you that update.
Yeah.
And I hear often is my agent really never communicated with me. And then I go back to the agent and the agent says, well, I didn't have anything to share. Well, you should have shared. You had nothing to share.
Right.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, this was part of my value proposition as well, right? I will educate you along the way. That's just part of what I do. And I promise you that you'll never feel lost throughout the transaction.
Yeah. And if you don't meet that, then you violate an integrity back on the last.
There you go.
You live by.
Nimesh, you were even showing in some of our appointments here how you can automate that experience by, as if you put it in command and as you're moving down the path that you kind of created in your command system, that something will be triggered to send out a message to them, which has the standards of here's what's going to happen next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This goes back to
delight the customer. In the Starbucks experience, they call it surprise and delight, right? There's a way in an experience, and when dysfunction, conflict, something shows up, you run toward it and you address it. And that's how you'll create even bigger fans.
Angela McDaniel does a great job of delighting and surprising the customer. At each phase of the transaction, she's sending them a gift to their job, preferably. One, to get that wow experience, to get more people talking about her business, but two, it delights and it surprises them, and it really, really keeps them hooked into being a loyal customer and a raving fan for future times.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's an agent, will tell you, has a high referral-based business. Mm-hmm. Do the unexpected things in an unexpected way. That will set you apart. Have fun, get creative. I can remember an experience where I'm working with a builder. This is in Siena. This is Perry Homes. I got coached by my wife, by the way. So if I give credit, it's more for her. And I was beating her up over price, right? We were going after it. And she finally looked at me and go, do not ask for one more thing. We're done, right? Either take it or leave it. And I'm like, when you look at somebody like, I went all the way as far as I could, and to the point where she's almost getting frustrated with me. I went, cool. Andy goes, send her some flowers. So I sent her some flowers because she was getting tired of me. Appreciate the experience. Thank you so much for working with me. Can you imagine the next time I walked in there, or my clients walked into that? And she said in all her years being a salesperson, the builder, she had never had an agent who gave her something. I didn't think that way, by the way, right? I had somebody telling me, but it was doing an unexpected thing in an unexpected way. It was doing it. Years later, if I come across that salesperson, she still knows me. She still remembers what I did. That's just, it's simple. That's not about me. It's just, man, think that way. Where can we set ourselves apart? What can it look like? It was worth it. Oh, by the way, the BTSA on that was huge. I could afford $70 for flowers. Mm-hmm. Or whatever it costs. So elevate your service, right? We want our agents to have an elevated level of service that creates an unforgettable customer experience, an experience that has a tangible difference from all other companies. That is our desire, right? Look at the Starbucks, look at the Ritz-Carlton, look at Nordstrom's, all solid to just set themselves apart. Doesn't mean every once in a while a franchise or one of those doesn't do what they need to do, but we're always striving toward it.
Last week, Nimesh, PJ and Robbie hit that, right? They also recognize that the other agent on the other side is also our customer. And there's a potential way of moving that experience on a positive direction. And so they created an elevated level of service and presented that to the other agent, and it helped them win a multiple offer situation. So if y'all didn't see that, I encourage you to go back on our Facebook group and rewatch if you have watched it, and then watch it if you haven't, last meeting.
I mean, I believe that even if you, as you carry yourself and set that standard, I mean, you set it for your clients, right? And you expect that in return. I believe you can set it for the agent on the opposite side as well, right? Where it raises their level because they feel like they need to raise their expectations because of how you're bringing it to the table.
Absolutely. And then you have them give us a call and we'll see if we can get them here at Keller Williams.
Well, yeah, it's an easy way to go. The script is, do you mind if a leader on my team, right, at the market center gives you a call? Would you take their call? All right, so sustain the relationship. Remember, this is always a top of mind, but you do something remarkable, it's easy to sustain the relationship. This grows bigger, by the way. 90% of buyers would use their agent again, and only 12% do. Let that sink in. We share that often. If we're saying that the top people are getting referrals and they're getting it and they're working with the people that they want, and yet it's so neglected in our industry. Stay in front of them.
Yeah, front of mind is the key, right?
Yeah, communicate regularly. 33 touch. That's why we teach the SMART plans, right? That's why we teach, getting them on campaigns, add value. And then when you do get a referral, reward the customer right away. Even if they give you somebody that's crazy, It's not their job to screen them, right? Or they're not going to do it. You reward them. And it can be simple as a handwritten note with a $5 Starbucks card. That's how easy it can be. Same with your vendors. Reward them for the right behavior, and it's thanking them. I can remember back, had an AC guy that I think within 60 days, I gave him 3 solid referrals, and he never thanked me. I called him out on it because that's just the way I am. But I'm like, man, I'm not looking for something, but if you don't thank the people, how are you going to sustain this business? You're always chasing new business. Thank the people. I would have gave him more. I can afford my own cup of coffee, but when somebody else buys it for me and thanks me, then I'm on the track of looking for somebody else for them. That's how simple this is. Keep your customers a raving fan. They need to continue to feel your presence in the real estate industry, keeping them updated what's going on in the market, making touches, checking in on them. And then here's a little bit of a set to understand the customer and set expectations, deliver them, check in on it, surpass. And that's the end of our piece there. Final member, while I'm delivering on this, we had a little bit of a good conversation in our huddle this morning as a leadership team, and it was on the reality of concessions and agents feeling like they have to give discounts or rebates. And I'm not saying, and let me go back to the history of it. At one point, let me give you an interesting perspective. This was years ago. We had it in our rules was we took 30% and the franchise took 6% on 3% on buy deals. So wake up and you had an agent that gave back a discount, didn't realize it, and they were writing a check to the office, meaning they were losing money on the deal and they had to pay us because we were really to it. Now, we were asked and we knew the competitive market of it and we were getting into it. So we understand we were only going to charge on what was earned, but yet put that in perspective a little bit, right? Demand that you need to get paid, right? That you need to get paid for the service and the value that provide, and believe it. And I'll end on this if I can find it. It's in the Shift book. And it talks about it, and it's a great book for you to go back and read. And it talks about a true professional. So on page 69 and 70, I won't read the whole thing, but just Gary telling you, a true professional knows what they know, knows when they don't know, and knows the difference between the two. So when they know, they tell, and when they don't, they get advice. Professionals never fake or bluff their way ahead, but that's service. And here's the great thing that you have in this office, you won't find it. We sell more real estate, right, than anyone else in our county. We also, this is a fact, you have greater resources whatsoever. And go ask, you know what, let me go get some insight of that. And that way I can come back, right, and give you the best answer forward. If I told this morning, so I'm going into the doctor's office, right, and the doctor says, hey, Chad, there's something that came up on your screen, or I feel something. He goes, I have a pretty good idea what it is, but I'm going to go back and ask a couple of my colleagues and hear what they have to say, because I want to make sure we're all in agreement on would that be okay? And you go like, absolutely, that would be okay. That's a professional. Okay.
Of resources and being professional. I'm putting it inside of our chat right now. Just handling objections. You know, a great way is to lean into our resources on handling objections, or taking notes of the objections that you're hearing and creating a navigation around it so that you can be true and you can hold to whatever it is that you're saying. So I put those 2 little links in there. There's some quick videos on some common objections. This is recent, as you see, 3/15/21. It was in March, for you guys to check out and utilize and copy and enhance and practice. So.
Awesome.
All right. Do we have anyone that nailed the Y4C 2 Ts?
I think it was Kellyanne.
Kellyanne nailed it?
I think. I'm trying to go back to what Krista had on there.
Okay, so let's go through it. W is what, Nimesh?
Win-win.
Win-win or no deal, right? It's a win-win or no deal.
Right.
The I is what?
Integrity.
Integrity in all things. We hit on that today, right? Give me the 4 C's.
That
customers, right?
Customers always come first.
Yes.
We hit on that today.
Commitment in all things, right?
Commitment in all things. That was in there.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Something about results, right? Ideas before results.
Yeah. And then communication.
Communication.
Seek first to understand. What a great thing to live by. Seek first to understand. Seek first to understand before posting on social media, please. Or go talk to the person before you blast them on social media. The 2 T's are what?
Was there trust?
Trust
is one, yeah, for sure. I'm just forgetting the
honesty in all things, yep. And then there's teamwork. Success through others. Success through others. Yeah. And success.
Well, success is the S, right?
Yeah. Everyone succeeds more collectively. We all exceed better when we're together. Yes, you can run off and be an individual agent, and you are an individual, but just collectively, we are better when we do it. Nothing gets me more excited than an agent that has a coming soon, and they say, hey, in this closed face group, I wanted you guys an opportunity to see this. Done right, by the way, and a marketing or coming soon. And then the one that was just added is what?
Equity.
The E, equity, yeah.
And I hope that you see that at our office, by the way. I hope you see it and feel it. That does set us apart. Do you work with people that don't look like you? Do you pour into people who don't look like you? Do you listen to different perspectives along the way? And to me, as when I hear that one is a theme that I live by, are you just a lover of people, right? You just love people. I love people in all ways. Now, there's evil people. I don't like them. And there is evil people out there. Okay. All right. So Kellyanne, free basic agent bill. Krista knows about it. Congratulations. Good job. I don't know if you Googled it or what, but either way, you're the winner. Chicken dinner. Great things to live by. All right. Awesome. Melissa, are you ready?
I'm the worst. I tried so hard to wait till the last minute to get on.
You're perfect. Good.
Perfect timing.
So hi guys, hi. So with all these listing appointments and listing agreements going on, let's talk about what you need to ask when you're at a listing appointment. I think there's a few things that title needs to know from the sellers once you have a listing agreement. One would be, are you married? If you are married, is your spouse alive? Because that comes up a lot where we get, further in and the spouse is passed away. So that, or if you're divorced, but you're still on the deed together, we're gonna need to have some conversations about that. Is this an estate? If it's an estate, is there a will? Is it probated? Things like that. So ask if it's an estate. Another one would be, are there any liens or judgments on the property that they know of or that they're aware of? Because a lot of times it's easier if you tell us instead of us trying to, we need to find this and find that, which we will because that's our job at the title company. But just, just be upfront and just ask your sellers, are there any liens? You want to ask more questions. The more questions you ask, the better. And the last one would be, is there going to be a power of attorney? Is someone else going to sign on your behalf? Like, is the sellers out of the country? And if they're out of the country, are they coming back to sign? Are we going to need to send it, through notarize.com? So a conversation about, is there a power of attorney? How are we going to get this signed? Is the seller out of the country? Those type of things. So those are, you want to think outside the box as far as asking questions and things like that, because the more you know, the better, right? In anything. So it's better to find out right away so we can address it right away.
Okay, awesome. Well, if you got any more questions for Melissa, Celebrity's right downstairs. She's happy to help you in any way. And she just said, right, selling's not telling. Selling is asking great questions. There was an arsenal of great questions to ask to anticipate things that could arise that could prevent us or delay from closing along the way. Oh, here's another key reminder. I'm going to say this out loud for everybody to do it is, she said, is there a will? I hope all of you have an updated will. And it's not hard to do, but I would certainly tell you, do not leave it. If something was to happen to you or you and your spouse, don't leave it up to the state to decide what would happen. You go and make sure that it's written and done, and it's not very costly. That's just a friendly hint. Okay, I guess we just had celebrity on.
Hang on, Yu Yi wasn't able to make it today, but I do have a message on her behalf, our Reliant concierge.
Yep.
You know, have her help you out to get your client's Reliant service at I believe, a discounted rate. She has for a reminder to realtors, she's got a contest this month, the referral contest, and the winner will receive $150 worth of points. Credit, the winner will receive $150.
Yep. Well, and I think just remember that is, right? There's a need that comes up when somebody buys a home or rents a home, right? They need to handle their services. Hey, I got somebody who can assist with electric and a couple other things. Would you mind if they reached out to you? It's really simple. She'll send you a text and have it done. That's another way to exceed. Yes.
So when you do have a will and the person passes away, you need to get that will probated.
Yep.
Yeah. So right after that person passes away, you need to handle that.
Well, how more difficult it is if somebody doesn't have a will.
Oh gosh, that's going to take a long time. You're not selling that property anytime soon.
There you go. So just a reminder of, and do a friendly reminder to your clients as well, right? People need remind. They'll go, yeah, it's important. I need to do that. And then they forget about it. So that's just your public service announcement. That was free of charge, by the way, at the end, but important. Okay, any other final thoughts before we conclude?
I mean, you know, what we talked about today, right? It all boils down to your value and your value proposition. You are going to get asked in this market, in this region, you're going to get asked because everybody asks and a lot of people offer it. Do you give a discount or I want something back? What's your answer going to be? It's the why, right? Why are you worth what you're worth?
I'm gonna piggyback on that. You know, when we're talking to our sellers and our buyers, it's really about that mindset. And so you want to approach them with the mindset of coaching them and providing them value. So come from contribution. I don't think Chad has said that like once at all in my 5 years being here. So I'm just gonna say it. You're gonna come from contribution, right? And that is the value that you're bringing. So don't be afraid to be honest and walk away when they are trying to attack or cause you to go
compromise that.
Standards. Right. Compromise your standards. That's it.
All right. Awesome. I thought it was good stuff. Thank you, Nimesh and Verna, for joining in and making it better. Yet I just stole great content from our company, right, that we provide and live by. Thank you, Melissa, for joining us. If you got any questions or anything that we can help you, don't hesitate to reach out to the staff. And we'll see you guys all soon.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye.